As most of you know, Fremont is my go-to spot on weekends for seeing lots of trains along Union Pacific's Omaha Subdivision and BNSF's Sioux City Subdivision. While Fremont is always a buzzing freight hotspot, it was once home to a short passenger line. This is the story of the Fremont and Elkhorn Valley Railroad. The story begins back in 1869 when the Fremont Elkhorn and Missouri Valley Railroad began construction on the line. It was completed in 1871 and is one of the oldest sections of existing track in Nebraska. In 1903, that railroad was swallowed up by the Chicago Northwestern. It soon became a gateway that led to many other routes. They named the line from Fremont to Norfolk the West Point Subdivision, though crews nicknamed it the Cowboy Line. The railroad would run freight on that line up until 1982. That year, flooding from the Elkhorn River had damaged the track. They then abandoned the line. From the 1970s, traffic had slowly been declining on the line. With traffic slow and repair costs high, it made sense for the C&W to give up the line. The Nebraska Railroad Museum, based in Fremont, acquired the line from Fremont to West Point in 1985. The first public train ran in 1986 on Memorial Day. During the summer months, operations were pulled by a 280. The loco was built for the United States Army in 1942. It has always remained number 1702, and it was used on the line until 1991 when it was sold for $50,000. The loco now runs on the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad in western North Carolina. It runs on beautiful routes through the Nantahala River Gorge, passing through the dense forest as well as snaking along the river. As for the other power, they had an ex-Sioux line SW1200 number 2121, which was used as backup power. That loco was used until 1996. Since then, they had their own SW1200 number 1219, which was built in 1962 and was formerly a Chicago Northwestern loco. Other power included a GP9, and at one point, they also had a C&W F7. Passenger cars range from old heavyweight Pullmans to streamlined cars once pulled on famous trains, such as former Milwaukee road cars acquired in the 80s, once pulled on the Hiawatha, as well as other cars from various roads. The railroad also featured some classic cabooses from BN, UP, and some other roads. The railroad operated an 18-mile loop of track from Fremont to Hooper, Nebraska. In 2003, the trip was shortened to Nickerson because of a broken bridge farther down the line. After a few months, though, it was fixed and service was back to normal. In Hooper, riders could hang out for the day or just take a trip there, take a quick look around, and then get back on the train and head back to Fremont. On Friday evenings and weekends, they operated dinner trains featuring live entertainment like a murder mystery or theater performance. While you enjoyed these programs, you could eat meals like prime rib, steak, pork chops, and other main courses along with sides such as salads and mashed potatoes. The railroad thrived for over 25 years until 2010 when problems started to arise. The railroad was threatened with foreclosure because of a bank loan. This caused them to sell the line to a private company based out of Richmond, Missouri. That included locomotives and some passenger cars left behind. The museum and their new owners plan to continue to run the dinner train along the line. They also changed the name to the Fremont Northern Railroad. As maintenance was lacking and track conditions became worse on the old rail, things never panned out. Not much is left of the old railroad. Most track has been pulled from crossings and had the gates removed. All that remains in Fremont is some rusty track and a few passenger cars, as well as the SW1200 along with a GE 55-ton center cab switcher. So what's next for the once mighty C&W Cowboy line? The previous owners took operations to the new location in Kansas where it still operates till this day. The Nebraska Railroad Museum currently has plans to move all of its equipment to Nebraska City and have it put on display and restored. Most of the equipment has been moved to Nebraska City, but some is still sitting on the old abandoned line. While it looks like this part of the Cowboy line might never see a train again, there is still hope that one day it will be restored and the Fremont Northern Railroad can proudly watch me be one of its first customers aboard its trains. A few years later, after C&W abandoned the Cowboy line, they were quickly swallowed up by the quickly growing UP system. The Cowboy line was a soon distant memory of the former railroad. While the C&W is all but gone from Fremont, one little part still lives and breathes. Chicago Northwestern GP7 number 4153 was built for the C&W in April of 1952. It is working just as great for the DeBruce grain elevator as it was for the C&W. The loco is awesome and still looks great in the C&W paint. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed learning all about the Fremont and Elkhorn Valley Railroad. I remember going to ride it once when I was little. I really enjoyed researching and learning all about this piece of Nebraska and railroading history. From the Chicago Northwestern Cowboy Line in Fremont, Nebraska, this is Union Pacific Omaha. Out.